Friends, God bless you, and let us continue our study on sleeping partner. Today we are going to focus on 1 Samuel chapter 26, and it's a very famous story of King Saul and his encounter, David's encounter with King Saul when David was running for his life, and King Saul with the 3,000 mighty men came to kill David. And the story unfolds in 1 Samuel chapter 26 verse 7. Let us read. So David and Abishai came to the people by night, and their Saul by sleeping within the camp, with his spear stuck in the ground by his head, and Abner and the people lay all around him. Then Abishai said to David, God has delivered your enemy into your hand this day. Now therefore please let me strike him at once with the spear right to the earth, and I will not have to strike him a second time. But David said to Abishai, do not destroy him, for who can stretch out his hand against the Lord's anointed and be guiltless? David said furthermore, as the Lord lives, the Lord shall strike him, or his day shall come to die, or he shall go out to battle and perish. The Lord forbid that I should stretch out my hand against the Lord's anointed. But please take now the spear and the jug of water that are by his head, and let us go. So David took the spear and the jug of water by Saul's head, and they got away. And no man saw or knew it or awoke, for they were all asleep, because a deep sleep from the Lord had fallen on them. And again, here we are seeing a very remarkable story here. David is running for his life. He has all reason to take a revenge. He has all reason to put to this running away to end that night. And God has delivered his enemy into his hand. Now the question is, David knew that through his spies, if you read the whole chapter 26, you find that David knew that Saul has come to kill him. And David goes out to check on Saul. And by night comes, and Bible does not say why David decided to go to this suicide mission, because Saul is with 3,000 men, warriors, and he's sleeping, Saul, in the middle of this camp, and going there just with Abishai, just two of them. It's a suicide mission. But David went there. Bible is not clear why David decided, but Bible says that why they come alive, because they were asleep. That is a one story, one part of it. But if you pay attention to verse 12, it says that for they were all asleep, because why they are sleeping? Because a deep sleep. It's the same deep sleep we are studying about. The Hebrew word we are studying called tardema. That deep sleep came from God, and God put the enemies to sleep, and David walked away from this. There are two things. One was a temptation. He had no intention, but Abishai instigated the temptation. Hey, let us kill. Let me kill. I will in one strike I will kill Saul. I will not ask for the second strike. There was a temptation there, but David walked away. And here God allowed David to escape, to walk away from the situation which could have become a disaster for David. God put an entire camp into deep sleep. Sometimes you and me come to in a situation in our life that enemy, we see our enemy, we see our disease, We see the terminal illness. We see the financial crisis. We see the broken relationship. We see all enemies around us. We saw them. Now, what we do with them, that's a different story. God allowed David to see the enemy. But David is walking in a constant presence that God is with me. The situation is not good for David. He's running for his life. But he knows that what was his promise, how God is dealing with him. So with physical eyes, he's among the enemies. But his spiritual eyes telling him that he is in the presence of the Lord. So if you are facing some giants in your life, a terminal illness, a devastating news, that's a reality. I'm not saying that it does not happen. It's enemy. The devil brings the destructions against us. Because Bible says that devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. But the presence of God is remarkable. He provides the deliverance. If you know the story in book of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, God did not allow him, or God did not stop them entering the fiery furnace. But when they entered the fiery furnace, they realized that God is bigger than the fire. They walked out. God was present with them in the midst of the fire. So in your fiery furnace, if you are going through, God is with you. Psalm 23:5 says that you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. God prepared the table in the presence of enemies. God is on your side, not against you. So that is a fact. Don't rely on your physical eyes that is seeing the reality, but rely on the fact and the promises of God. I would encourage you to read the Isaiah 43 entire chapter and put your name there. Let me read first a few verses. I'm not going to read the entire chapter, but what I mean when you read that, put your name there. Isaiah 43, starting with first verse. But now thus says the Lord, you who created you, O Jacob, and he who formed you, O Israel, fear not. For I have redeemed you, I have called you by your name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned. Now let us put your and my name in the story and see how how you can read it. But now thus says the Lord who created you, O Jacob. Instead of Jacob, put your name. O Mark, O Mary, O Matthew, O Grace. But now thus says the Lord who created you, O Timothy, O Nat, and he who formed you, O Mary, O Grace. Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned. David went in the middle of enemies. God brought the deep sleep on enemies, and he walked away. No matter how big the enemies around you, God can put a deep sleep on them. They can do nothing to you because a living God is watching over you and he loves you so much. God bless you and thank you.